Harry Maguire is the man of the moment. Ruben Amorim has confirmed it. His contract extension has been triggered. Meanwhile, Marcus Rashford, who is hoping to follow the same footsteps as Harry Maguire and work his way back up again at Man United, is in trouble. He will not be playing in the game against Liverpool on Sunday. The boss has confirmed. Here is the official press conference reaction before our difficult trip to Liverpool. Like, share, and subscribe. My name is Webb. Now, guys, quick one. Ruben Amorim is losing it, guys. The guy is growing old. I hate to see it, but if you looked at this guy during the press conference today, you could see the stress on this guy. This job is extremely difficult, but perhaps not more difficult than what Harry Maguire has achieved. A guy who just months ago was the laughing stock, the meme of football globally. He was the epitome of failure, stripped of captaincy, something hitherto almost unheard of. For a player to be stripped of captaincy because of poor performances at a club like Man United is not something you see every day. Maguire endured that under Eric Ten Hag, kept there. They wanted to sell him, force him out to sell him to West Ham. He said, no, I'm staying to fight for my place. I'm not going to West Ham. Here we are. Last game, he puts on the captain's armband for the first time since it was stripped off him. And now, a contract extension has been triggered in his contract after long talks between Man United and the player. For me, it doesn't get any better than that. Again, clear, good attitude for a Man United player. That's the kind of attitude we want to see of Man United players. For me, Harry Maguire's victory is not even just about him. It's about all of us. It's an example of life, that life is really full of ups and downs, but what matters is how, when you're down, how do you pick yourself up? What's your attitude? What's your mentality? Do you stay disciplined? How do you fight to see that you get back up to the top? For me, that's a very important thing. And for me, I'm so proud and happy for Harry Maguire, honestly. He's a good person. He's a humble guy. Never went into the media to give stupid interviews, talk about the club or the manager. He kept humble. And even through the tough times when social media was making memes out of him, left, right, and center, he stayed strong and firm. And here we are. His contract is going to be extended by another 12 months, as it was in a clause that he had in there. Isn't that amazing? How many of these Man United players can go through such and fight back up? Imagine, because I think Harry Maguire was in a worse situation than Anthony was just weeks ago, because lately Anthony is beginning to look like he's returning, but Maguire was in a worse state. Being stripped of captaincy is, I think, just you being utterly disrespected. And you can imagine how many of us would react to that. But this guy has been humble, respected Bruno, his captain, and here he was given the captain's armband. Another person would say, I'm not putting it on when Martinez was substituted off. But he took it and still led the team. People will believe, and I'm one of those who feel like he was a better captain than Bruno. He's a better leader. Of course, it's understandable at the time it was difficult for him to manage, but I don't think stripping of the captaincy was the solution anyway. But that's where we are. Big congratulations to Harry. Now, the latest is that Marcus Rashford will not travel with Man United to play Liverpool on Sunday because of an illness. That is according to the boss. He has not been training because he's been ill, according to Ruben Amorim, and he won't be there. And of course, people will react to that. I personally, of course, usually I think illness is a quick excuse to just sum it up, because many a time they will tell you the lead was not there for 2 games because of illness. I don't believe in this whole illness talk. Which illness? I think they've just banished him. I think the talks are escalating. For me, the fact that Rashford is not in the team is evidence that indeed the swap talks are going on and probably they are imminent. So I don't believe this whole illness thing, because that's the easy thing to say when you don't want to talk a lot about what's going on with the player or the things you don't want to put out in the media. The easy thing to say, he's got an illness, that's why he's not training, he's not in the team. But the reality is Rashford must have been banished, but in a more subtle, polite manner than Jadon Sancho was under Eric Ten Hag. So that is where we are. So Rashford will not be there. Whether that changes the thing about Man United and their chances of being competitive, I do not think so, because in any case, we've won a tough game against Man City at the Etihad without him. We've lost games without him. So doomed when we have him, doomed when we don't, because we are still losing games when he was there. So for me, I will not go back and forth about Rashford. I told you I'm convinced. I was convinced long time ago that he's leaving the club, and everything else happening now does not really shock me. It doesn't. Nothing really shocks me. So that's a quick situation, and of course, wrap up of what Amorim has spoken about. But he has spoken about quite a number of things. Of course, the situation United is in is purely a desperate situation. Probably in others under different circumstances, you don't think maybe Maguire's contract would have been extended if Man United had the luxury to spend so much money in Jan. But you also think about it, and you're like he deserved it. He's deserved this extension because he has worked hard. And if you look around the players we have right now, he's one of Man United's most important defenders. I think if you look around it, I think he's ahead. He looks to be ahead of Delete and perhaps even Lisandro Martinez in terms of consistent performances. So you would look at him and feel there's no qualms about it. There is nothing personal. When these players are performing, it's only right for us to give them that credit when it's due. And indeed, for Harry Maguire, it's due credit. Now, the question is, what's going on with Alejandro Garnacho? What's going on with this boy who was a promising talent, but clearly he has failed to find his head under Ruben Amorim? He's struggling left, right, and center. There were talks of being Man United failing to agree a new contract with him and Kobe. What exactly is happening with Garnacho? What's the standpoint? There are reports that we got suggesting that Amorim wants to sell him, and Zakzi, he did decide that. At this point, guys, we think we can't be surprised if any player is sold, honestly. And I'll be honest, guys. I wouldn't be surprised right now if Man United sold Garnacho, even in this January, to find solutions. And because the thing is, Man United needs money. I think we need money than any of these players. The only player we could look at and say we need is Amad Diallo. But I'll tell you, and you see, it's surprising that the club doesn't seem to be in a rush to tie him down. But we've got that confidence that maybe they will. But the thing is, even my beloved Kobe, I'll tell you, if Man United woke up and said they are getting 100 million for Kobe or 80 million, I think his market value now is about 50 million quid or thereabout. But I'll tell you, at this point, the only Man United player that I look at and I'm thinking, this is the only player we need, is Amad Diallo. I wouldn't be shocked if any of the other players was sold because the club needs the players, rather, the club needs the money more than they need any of these players, save for Ahmad. So the situation for me is one I just want to look at and follow, and we see. When the money comes in, then we've got to concretely think about who then are we spending on? Who then are we looking at? Who then can come in? But before that happens, guys, anything can happen. Be open-minded. Don't be sentimental. That, for me, should be the key lesson. We cannot be debating about any of these players, save for Ahmad, leaving Man United. That can't be a debate. Can't happen. They have not warranted any guarantees at all for me. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.